and like to make this video because I need help, and this is me begging for somebody to help me with my situation. I had my child taken away from me, and even though it's common and it happens every day between parents and custody and everything like that, my situation is so unfair and so dumbfounding that this has happened. Nobody's perfect. I'm not perfect. But I can say as a citizen, I'm pretty damn convenient as far as never having a traffic ticket, never even being involved with the police until the family wanted to call CPS and police on me. But I've never had a record or anything like that. But the judge decided that father should have custody, and I'm not really the type of person to be a vengeful, hateful person as far as, oh, now he has my children and I'm going to do anything I can to get them back because I don't want him to have him. That's not the case at all. Like, I just strongly feel the situation that I've been in, my child is a lot more safer with me in the situation as far as mental and physically at this point. I don't want to like drag on trying to tell everything that happened in this video because this is just me asking for help. And the court system in Santa Clara is just, it's screwy. Protocols that needed to be taken were not taken, yet they still continued things without those protocols being followed. The judge, in a sense, pretty much switched custody because he said, let's just give it a shot. Let's just try it out. What do you think about that? And I told him straight up. I told him I completely feel uncomfortable with this situation, knowing what's happened and how things are happened and what kind of people they are, and me living in that house for a year. In the beginning, I feel like it is completely unsafe. But he did it anyways. He did it. He switched custody back in 2018, the very last week of December. So it's just been a little bit over a year now and 3 months. During that time, he's been over there. His uncle in the house had lost a machete in the couch, and they didn't tell me he went to the ER because my son's finger was pretty much sliced, and thank God it was just his finger. But then the question is, like, who the heck loses a machete in the couch? Why were there not precautions to, like, find that immediately? You have a child in the house, and you went weeks without looking for it until my son had to find it with getting hurt. I called CPS on that situation, and nothing was done. But just the emotional abuse. My poor son. Recently, during Thanksgiving, I had him for my week, and I was just getting my daughter dressed, and I look over at him, and he tells me that he's sorry, and he's about to burst into tears. And I'm like, why are you sorry? There's nothing for you to be sorry for. And he's just like, my grandma, she's always saying that she hates you and she's the one trying to keep me away from you. And I don't know why she calls you a monster all the time. And he just kept saying sorry. He's 9 years old now. I know he knows better than what's going on and what kind of brainwashing they've been doing. But for him to just keep saying sorry for over an hour when he didn't even cause the situation just makes me so upset that he feels like he needs to apologize to me because of what his grandmother's doing. And then a few months before that happened, I didn't take him, but I had my child for my week during summer. We had 1 week. And one day I brought him home and he just was standing behind me while I was on the computer, and I turn around and he just straight up says to me the most adult thing at the time. He was 8, an 8-year-old could say, and he said, "You are nothing like my grandmother says you are." And that just made me really happy because I know he knows what she's saying about me isn't true. He's always known that I've never talked bad about her. I really haven't, even though she said that, oh, he comes home and he says that I say that his grandmother is a B word and that she's crazy. I don't say anything like that. Whenever he brought up the situation as far as why don't you guys get along? Why does my grandma hate you so much? I just tell him, I just redirect the subject and I just tell him, it doesn't matter how she feels. I just want you to know that every one of us love you. And that's all. And I stop there. They've called CPS on me multiple times. Probably 4. I've had cops at my house just as much. I've always welcomed them into my home. I've never had anything to hide. All these abuse claims that they've made, the CPS came with them as unfounded. The CPS never felt at that moment that the child should be taken from the home. The police always found everything to be unfounded. And even actually at one point, because I guess my son was so brainwashed with the situations, that a police officer even kind of not yelled at him, but just scolded him and told him, do you know what lying is? Do you know what the difference between lying is and how wrong it is? And it's a sad story. But the biggest thing that I have issues with is the family court system. And I'm sure this name might have come up. My hand's falling asleep. I'm sure this name has come up before, around the Bay Area, maybe. But I have Judge Stuart Scott, and I thought he was going to be a good judge at first. He looked like an honest person until things started happening. And then I did my research on him, and I found out that there was a petition out for him to have him demoted as a judge. Just how he conducts his work as unlawful, that he always is on the defendant's side, even if they are completely wrong. I hate to say it, but just a straight up screwy judge. And he always took the accusations and the facts. I've read that before, but it's just so completely true. And unfortunately, too, the minors' council that we've had who was assigned by Judge Stuart Scott, she does the same thing as well. She takes the accusations into facts. And she's never been nice to me. And I never expected her to be nice to me. She's supposed to be a middle ground. She's supposed to be there for the child and for the best interest of him. And she's not really supposed to be talking to me. That's why I have my lawyer. And she's not really supposed to be talking to the father. That's why they had their lawyer. Neither of us are being represented at this time, because at this time they feel like it's over, it's done with, we don't need a lawyer anymore. We won, pretty much. We won. But they won because of lies. Like, it's just so disgusting, because I have stacks and stacks of information and the perjury, and it's just so disgusting that family court just allows the perjury to go through. And I mean, it's just straight up, like, they say one thing in one document, which would be under oath, it's a declaration, and they say something completely different in another one, and that's just like, I don't know. But like, my lawyer at the time was saying that it's so hard to prove perjury, and that, you know, that you can't really convict somebody of it with. So my hopes and dreams were crushed, because I was just like, perjury is a crime, you know? And it's just disgusting how they got away with everything, and just again with the harassments of the CPS and everything. But the one time that I called because of the whole machete situation being lost in the couch, nothing comes about it. Like, that was a legit situation where my child could have been harmed even more than just his finger. But anyways, I just really need help. I need somebody to help me. And I'm not a petty person. I really am not, because I've always told, even when I had my son in my custody, I've always told him, I've always told his father that I'm never, like, I'm not trying to, like, take him away from you, you know? We don't live close together, so it's not like we can do 1 week anymore, because that's all that they have in their head, is that they want what's fair to them. And that's not fair to the child, because it shouldn't be what's fair. It should be what's best for the child, just plain and simple. But the grandmother, she's always been after me, always. You know, I just want to, like, read something maybe, just so you can kind of get the idea of what kind of person she is. I mean, look, I have so much files here. I organized everything, but I just need help in the legal sense. So here's one thing she wrote about me, and I just want to explain right now that she says in this that I used her card and she filed charges against me for credit card use, but I've never ever used her card, not once, because it's a credit card and you need, like, ID or some kind of form of signature. Then she would have proven that I signed things, but she didn't. And sorry about my hair. But anyways, I just want you to know what kind of person she is. Okay. She says, I hope so too. She thinks she's so smart, and I know she's breaking my heart. But this bitch is all about payback. I filed fraud charges on my credit card she used, talked to police to get the DA to file assault charges, and calling CPS to have her put under constant watch. If all goes planned, that bitch be behind bars for a very long time. Don't fuck with Mama Bear. All of these messages that I have from Grandma too as well, it's just her being like my grandson or my baby, or he's calling me mama, or me, I'm off to pick up my Riley, my beautiful baby boy. She's always been obsessive like that since day one. You know, and to the point where it's so excessive, like apparently she wanted me to have this child because when I first met him at age 18, no, sorry, I'm not going to say that because I did meet him at 17. We started having sex at 17, but during the time when I turned 18, there was an incident where I did have a pregnancy scare, and I told the grandmother, and I don't know. She took it as an account as like, oh, okay, well, let's fix this. Like, she came at me one morning with a calendar. And again, keep in mind that I'm just 18 years old and I just met these people like 3 or 4 months ago. And she's just like, these are the best days you can get pregnant, and make sure you do this and this and this to get pregnant. And you know, at the time, it just kind of was like weird, but like even now, like I think about it, it's like even weirder that like this person that I just met is trying to make sure that I get pregnant. I just want to show you too that this is what I lost against. This is the type of person who won custody over me. I don't mean to put him down as a person. He is who he is. But just the simple facts as like, he doesn't even drive. How does that work with emergencies or taking your child to school? Oh, it's okay. Grandma does it. Grandma has a car. She's able to do it, you know? Grandma takes him to the doctor's appointments. Like, why is she able to do all this stuff before me as the mother when I've done absolutely nothing to prove that I have been a neglectful parent? I've done nothing. I've always been there for my children. But I have one child taken away from me because of lies. But, this is the father. This is who I lost against. Somebody who is so heavily into violence that it scares me. You know, like the grandmother, back then when we broke up, I took my child. There was no court order in place. They couldn't really do anything. I took my child because I wanted to make sure we did have a court order in place before I gave him back to them, because I was so scared that they were going to take him to West Virginia where they have a home, and I don't know where it is. And I wouldn't be able to get him back or find him. There was another incident that kind of proved to me what kind of mentality grandmother has. And grandma said to me at one point that she hated her husband. She hates him so much that she's going to beat up her own face, and that she's going to call the police and have him put away for the night in jail. And while he's in jail, she's going to break into his safe and then take all his money and leave. That's exactly the story she told me. I know she never went through with it because she's still with him. But for her to even say that is just wrong. Like, if you don't love him, you leave. You don't do all that extensive stuff just so you could get some money and then leave. Because then you're just putting charges on somebody who's innocent. You know, that's so messed up. But now at this point in my life, like, I really need help because I feel like, and the scary thing though is like, I feel like if, and again, this is just my own opinion, but as a mother, this is how strong I feel. I'm gonna end this soon, but I really need help with a lawyer or something because, and then again, like, I'm scared to like go through with trying to get my child back at this point, but I know I need to. I need to. He's not safe over there mentally, and I'm just really scared if I push through with trying to get him back, that grandmother is like, she's so obsessed with him and having him that I know her mentality at this point, and she's like, if I can't have him, then nobody can. And then you have a grandmother who killed her son and herself because she didn't want anybody to take the child from her. But yet I have messages from fathers saying, I'm never taking you to court. Like, we can work this out. Like, also, it's totally fine if you can have him as long as I get him breaks and weekends and stuff. But yet grandma's over there saying, oh, I'm going to take her to court. Like, I have to come up with $15,000, and if I don't get her to bring the child back with bullshit bait, then I'm going to be at the courthouse all day. The other thing, too, is father and grandmother on the stand. They said how much that father is there, and father's always doing everything for the child. But yet they wrote on a piece of printer paper that the father is giving his temporary rights to the grandmother and the grandfather to make decisions for transportation, for anything involved that they deem necessary. And he signed it over, and they just got it notarized. And I think everybody knows that you can get anything notarized if you pay the person. If they feel like they're so, father's just completely there with my son every single time, like 24 hours a day, and not even 24 hours a day, because I know he works, and I know my son's in school and he might need somebody to pick him up, but that's not something that you give your parental rights away for. That's not, just because I'm going to go on a vacation, or just because I have to go to work or something like that. Like, you don't give up your parental rights because of that. All that paperwork is saying to me is that father is so completely irresponsible to not make decisions for my son that he has to have his mother and his stepfather do it.